Let's get deeper. I've been learning about DAAS. And DAAS is like something like that I've never understood it in the way that I understand it now. Okay? I'm sure I'll be learning what it is for the rest of my life, but I want to try to explain a little bit what DAAS is. DAAS is translated as knowledge. You know, we have Chachma, Bina, and DAAS. So, you know, they say that Chachma is that flash of wisdom. So Chachma is wisdom. Bina means understanding. Bina is when you kind of develop it. And then DAAS is when it all kind of comes together in a solid, usable form of knowledge that you can actually use in practice. That's kind of the explanation that I had with me for years and years and years and years. But now I want to tell you something that I think puts a whole nother kind of spin on it, okay? And this is getting more Kabbalistic now. So basically, the world, when the world was first created, the world was created out of balance. A very, very important piece of information. And the world is still out of balance. We're trying to get the world in balance. It's kind of what's going on. It's kind of like another take on Mashiach. It's another take on kind of what our job is and why our lives are so confused. Because we're not in balance. So what does that mean just in terms of the way the Kabbalists express it? That the first things that God really created were like Chachma and Bina. But that's the male energy and the female energy. And again, this is not, you don't be literal minded. This is before there were physical males or physical females, right? This is a much more archetypical kind of idea, right? So these two energies, this male energy, this female energy, or let's just use the words Chachma and Bina, right? This wisdom and understanding were out of whack. They were out of whack. Now, what is DAAS? DAAS is that energy which balances wisdom and insight, Chachma and Bina. In other words, instead of seeing DAAS as a concrete thing, and you can see it as that, here's a more subtle way to understand what DAAS is. DAAS is that energy which balances Chachma and Bina. So in other words, who is the person who has DAAS? And we talk about DAAS Torah, right? What is DAAS Torah? Like we say that the Gedolim have got DAAS Torah. What is that? So we say that's kind of like Ruach HaKodesh. DAAS Torah means that they've so mastered the sources that if you, like they know so much Torah, that if you ask them a question, they can almost see into the future about the future ramifications of your shaila, and they can give you an answer which the normal, regular person can't. From virtue of the fact that they know so much Torah, they can, and they call that DAAS Torah. That sixth sense almost. But now listen to what DAAS Torah is in the context of the way we just explained it. DAAS Torah, hi doctor. DAAS Torah is the product of Chachma and Bina being balanced. In other words, when you're in a state of balance, which is tikkun, in other words, tikkun is fixing. When you're in that proper place of balance, that means that you have DAAS, because the DAAS is creating balance. Now, from a balanced place, you can see very clearly, right? You can see farther than other people can see as a product of your DAAS. That's why the Gedolim, it's not just to make sure we're communicating, it's not just that they have an overwhelming amount of Torah knowledge. That's true. But their Torah knowledge is in a state of balance, which allows them to see the world clearly. And that's DAAS Torah. Okay, let me say it to you another way, okay? A more impactful way. One of the most important things to know, one of the most important pieces of information to know in life, is that God is equally present in this dimension as he is in the highest spheres of heaven. God is equally here. That's a game changer, that piece of information alone, okay? He's equally here. However, God is more concealed here. It doesn't mean he's any more absent here. He's totally present here. It's just he's more concealed. You know, if I'm like, I mean, this is a kind of a dumb example, but just so you know what I'm talking about. If you walked into the house and I actually was in the closet, hiding in the closet, you'd say, hey, David's not here, but I am here. I'm 100% here, you just can't see me. I'm in the closet, but I'm here. So God is 100% here, he's just concealed. All right, now listen to this. Let me give you another way to say concealed. God is equally here, but because we're out of balance, because the Chachma and the Bina are out of balance, God is concealed and we don't see him because of our lack of understanding that he's here. In other words, I'm giving you another way to understand how God is concealed in this world. God's concealment is a product of each of us being out of balance. And when we're out of balance, that means we don't have DAAS. When we're in balance, we have DAAS and we see God's presence.